Swap 2, 85 C10 short bed. This video is mostly just going to be about showing you guys cheaper parts list options. Then after that, once I do stuff, these videos more so won't be like your typical YouTube videos where you watch them actually do the work. I just don't want to make long videos and requires less editing on my end. So we'll start with the engine. He has a built LQ4 Gen 3. Has a huge cam in it. It's getting a 4060 put onto it. It'll last maybe 5 minutes, but that was what he got. Most of this stuff I sent him the links and he just ordered it. So most of this stuff is just Amazon. He had already bought these headers from Speed Engineering. I believe that's stainless steel. They're nice, big tube diameter too. If you're interested in those, there's your parts number. One thing I want to throw out there for anybody that's new to this stuff or newer, Gen 3 is the absolute best option for when you want to be cheap or cheaper. You can get them anywhere. The prices have gone up on them, but they're still worth it in my opinion. Then also it's much easier to get computers and harnesses cheaper. This is from eBay. It's just a flashed computer just to get your swap running. I think that was $130 or $150, something like that. And then you can get a cheap Amazon harness, which is what I've used on my personal daily driver, my Cuda, and the S10 I just finished up weekend before last. You can get these. You can even get them cheaper on eBay. I think on eBay you can get them for less than 200 bucks. I just go through Amazon because if I need to return one, it's much easier and faster than eBay. For trucks, the older Chevy trucks, you can just use the stock radiator hoses, upper, lower, that would come stock with the Gen 3 engines in them. So basically like the Suburban out there, and then if you need to, you can hack them up and shorten them. However, I strongly suggest, especially if you've never messed with drive-by wire setups, to just go straight to drive-by cable. All you have to do is just change the throttle body. That's the only difference. And then you make sure you get a computer that's drive-by cable, and then harness that's drive-by cable. The harnesses are insanely easy to hook up. They come with instructions. There's two ground wires, two power wires that go to the starter, and one red wire that goes from the fuse block to power, and that's it. Let's see if I can find it for you. Just make it easier. Power wire from fuse block. Here's one of the grounds. There's another ground in there. Here's the wires that go straight to the starter, and that's it. And then for fuel system, I strongly suggest these Holley fuel pumps that are drop-in. Make things much easier. You can run cheaper options. Actually, I think this one, I think I might be wrong. I think that one's only 250 bucks or something like that, as to where the one for my Cuda was pushing 400. Or what I had on my Cuda that you probably see a lot online is the Corvette filter regulator with the external pump that I have in here somewhere. This is my junk. Oh, there it is. And then just I got this off of Amazon. It's an actual Walbro, but this is the setup, the fuel system setup that I had in my Cuda when I first got it running. And I went to in-tank pump solely because that thing is loud. My exhaust stops there, and my fuel pump, then that fuel pump was louder. You could hear it over everything. This has the stock truck oil pan, which obviously this truck is lowered and C-notched. So stock truck oil pan, definitely not gonna work under there. So I suggested, well, I sent him a link. We got this. If you can hear a dog barking, that's my Great Pyrenees. There's somebody back there mowing my yard, and if you know how Great Pyrenees are, she's not gonna stop barking until he's done. But I got this kit off of Amazon also. I believe this is like a knockoff of the Holley 302-2. The difference is the Holley 302-2 is what most people, for some reason, just started spending $400 on and putting in their cars when they could have just used an F-body oil pan. Which an F-body oil pan, this is relatively close to an F-body oil pan. This is basically an F-body oil pan, but I think even this pan, an F-body oil pan, is even shorter than this. I know an F-body oil pan is the most shallow oil pan you can get, and they're much cheaper than they used to be. Much cheaper. This was a kit that came with, I think that's a, oh, I think that's for the oil filter. Huh. It comes with everything, all the bolts needed. Comes with a pickup tube. I think it was supposed to come with a windage tray. I have to go back on Amazon and look at the listing, but I could have sworn I saw a pickup tube, but obviously we want to compare them. You got, let's say, you're looking about that much more shallow, or that much more room. And I'm actually, after this video, I'll be putting that on. Since it didn't come with the windage tray, 9 times out of 10, you can take the stock truck windage tray, and then you got the windage tray bolts here and here. If you cut at these holes, cut that forward, cut that off, you can use them with these more shallow oil pans, because they just, you cut off what hits right here. So you have this back. It came with the gasket too. What else? We got fuel. Oh, the fuel system. I know everybody tells you AN, AN, AN. You do not need AN unless you're running some crazy horsepower, and you're feeding it insane amounts of fuel. This is just a 255 pump. I'm trying to think of the LHP, LFP. I forgot what the initials are. This will probably make, if I was to guess with the cam that's in it and being a 6.0, maybe 500 to the crank, if not somewhere around there. Which that fuel pump is plenty. I think that fuel pump, I think those are rated up to 600 horsepower. And these barbed fittings will hold. I have these on my Cuda. I put these on the S10 that the guy is driving. This is a kit off of Amazon also. It comes with all the fittings. It comes with the push-on fittings for the back of the fuel rail, which I can show you. And then it comes with just your typical clamps. You don't need nothing fancy. And it comes with fuel line. This is just high pressure fuel line. That's all you need. And this kit was cheap too. What else? He got these spark plug wires. I didn't order these for him. He ordered these. I would suggest more angled ones, like 45-degree angle, just to give you better clearance between the tubes. These will work, but being straight, it's kind of close to that side. I'm actually wrapping these headers for him. If you don't want to wrap your headers, which I would strongly suggest wrapping them, just because the lower temps in the engine bay. Just get covers. What else? The transmission line fittings. What is this? Oh, that's mass airflow. Sorry, I'm trying to look through stuff and hold the camera towards anything but the wall. More the high pressure line. I'm gonna use this for the transmission. These are the fittings. They're through. That's the company that makes them. Oh, let me see if there's a part number on that box I can give you for the fuel kit. Made in China. Everything's made in China. Stop listening to those people. I wouldn't get Chinese parts. America made. That's all I use. Well, hate to break it to you, but just about everything's made in China. I have a OEM Cummins thermostat gasket in there that literally says made in China, and I ordered it directly through Cummins. But these are transmission line fittings. They screw into the transmission, and then I'm putting, let's see if I can get it out of the box. Any day now. Oh, no, not that. That's a cap. I'll show you that in a minute, why I have that. But I'm putting these fittings on these same type of barb fittings. You just screw right on to those transmission line fittings and then just run transmission line to the front. Always strongly suggest external radiator coolers, especially for a 4L60. Your biggest problem with the 4L60 is heat. I have a $150 one that I got from Amazon that also came with an electric fan on my daily driver Cuda, and I don't have the electric fan on it, and it keeps my transmission. I haven't seen my transmission temperature go above, I want to say like 145, and it's starting to get hot here in Texas. This is one I sent him to get. Had a lot of good reviews, and it's, I mean, anything is better than using the stock radiator ports in the radiators. That's an electric fan I'm just going to throw on the radiator. I don't know what's in that box below it. Oh, that's a cold air intake that is you can get for those Suburbans and trucks. It's the factory style. It's a aftermarket intake specific for those that you can make work. And that I chopped one up, and that's what's in my Cuda. I also chopped one up and put it in the S10. That's just your, unless you just cobble together some stuff, that's your cheapest kit you can get, and just chop it up if you need to. And those, if you move the battery, so the battery's on the. Okay, my phone cut off on me. For some reason, I can only record for a certain amount of minutes till the phone gets too hot. So, $1,000 phone, you can't record when it gets too hot. Awesome. Anyways, I think I gotta be quick. I left off the intake. So that intake goes to the left side like that aftermarket one. The battery goes right there. If you take the battery tray out, move the battery, you can run that intake without chopping it up. We're gonna leave the battery right there, so I'm gonna see how I can configure it to maybe move it that way so I don't have to chop it up. But I might have to take about 8 inches out of it and just make it go that way, the way it's supposed to go, or make it go whichever way I want to. While I was waiting for my phone to cool off, changing the oil pan, the windage tray, I think I spoke about it in the first video before my phone cut off. If you want to run the lower profile oil pans, you got to take out a chunk of the windage tray. You actually see where this is the truck windage tray. So just cut out these two holes. On this one, I could have just cut this one out because this still had clearance, but from the F-body days, you just cut out these two and the windage trays front and back here. I don't know where, oh, the windage tray, I just cleaned it off. So just cut it off like that. Stock truck windage tray. That's what was always done whenever you wanted to run the F-body oil pan on the truck. So yeah, I'm just putting this on, the oil pan on, and then I might just go ahead and test fit it before I put the transmission on, just to kind of see if it sits above the steering right here. I'm not 100% sure how low it'll sink in with those mounts, those off-brand Dirty Dingo mounts that were like 40 bucks. Pretty sure I stated that in the first video. I don't charge, but I pressure washed all this and hit it with some semi-gloss high temp engine paint. That should be it for parts list. I might be forgetting something. I don't think I am. As far as your coolant crossover, a lot of guys, they'll just drill and tap somewhere on the top of the water pump close to the upper neck. I could do that, but you could also run this connect this adapter, splice it into the upper radiator hose, and then screw in an NPT nipple to that and run your coolant crossover that way. If you don't want to drill and tap the water pump, it's a cleaner look, because if you just drill and tap it, you just run the line straight there instead of the line running all the way out to the front. It's completely up to you. So that's about it. So gonna put the oil pan on the safest way possible, and then see about test fitting. I don't know. I'm not really in a rush because there's still parts I have to get from the guy, so I don't really need to rush. But the more I get done now, the more I'll have already done later, and the faster I can finish it up. So see you next video.